You're rewarding their bad behavior. And the worst part is, most of the time, you don't even know you're doing it. To try and keep the peace, trying to be understanding, trying to not make a big deal. But let me tell you something real when you keep letting that slide. When you keep absorbing disrespect just to keep things smooth, you're not being kind. You're being used. And that hurts deeper than most people will ever admit. Y'all do it. We've all been there. Holding our tongue because we don't want to start an argument. Laughing off that disrespectful comment like it didn't sting. Giving second chances, third chances because we believe people can change. We think we're being strong, but that's not strength. That's self-betrayal dressed up as patience. And I had to learn that the hard way, because when you keep letting someone disrespect you without consequence, you're teaching them how to treat you. You're showing them the rule book. And every time they break a boundary and you let it go, you're rewarding bad behavior. And I get it. You're a good person. You believe in people. You see their potential. You think maybe, just maybe if you love them hard enough, they'll finally see your value. But here's the truth: you can love someone and still walk away. You can forgive them and still hold them accountable. Letting someone hurt you over and over again isn't loyalty. It's fear of being alone, fear of conflict, fear that maybe they're right about you. Let me ask you something. Have you ever silenced yourself just to keep someone else comfortable? Have you ever smiled through pain just to make sure they don't feel guilty? That's not love. That's a habit, a dangerous habit, one rooted in the need for validation. But validation bought through silence is empty, and it will never lead you to real peace. Now hear me on this. People are mirrors. They reflect back to us what we accept. If you tolerate disrespect, they'll keep delivering it. If you ignore the small jabs, they'll grow bolder. If you keep saying it's okay, eventually they'll believe it is. But if you draw the line, if you calmly, confidently say this is not acceptable, you shift the dynamic. Not through anger, not through revenge, but through clarity. You redefine your worth without saying a single word. And it's not just about others. It's about your own growth. Your personal development starts the moment you decide to stop rewarding behavior that undermines your value. You want to know how to be respected? Respect yourself first. Every single time you hold your own standard, even if it costs you connection, you build the kind of character people have to respect. Maybe not right away, but eventually they'll either level up to meet you or they'll fall away. Either way, you win. This isn't just about relationships either. It's about jobs, friendships, even family. There are people in your life who are only still in it because you've been too afraid to say, "This is hurting me," too scared to shake the foundation. But the truth is, if the foundation can't survive honesty, it wasn't solid to begin with. And you deserve solid. You deserve real. You deserve behavior that honors your humanity, not manipulates your kindness. Let me tell you what shifted things for me. I stopped trying to prove I was worthy. I started living like I already was. And that simple shift, it changed everything. People who were only there for what I could give them started falling off. And yeses, it was lonely at first. But the peace that came afterward, man, that peace was everything. So here's what I want you to think about as we go deeper into this. There's a reason people test you. There's a reason they push. And there's a reason why the same patterns keep repeating in your life. What if I told you there's a way to break that cycle for good? Stay with me. I'm about to show you how. See, here's the kicker. You've got more power than you realize. You've been sitting on a gold mine this whole time, and it's time to cash in. You know what I mean? You're waiting for the world to change, waiting for others to treat you better, but the real change starts with you. And here's the twist. It starts with your willingness to stop rewarding bad behavior. It starts with you recognizing that your time, your energy, your peace, those things are valuable. Look, I've seen it in my own life time and time again. When I finally stopped excusing the bad behavior of others, when I finally said, "This stops now," the world around me shifted. But before that, I was just like everyone else, taking the disrespect, taking the disregard, taking the hurt. I used to tell myself that I was understanding, that I was patient, but what I was really doing was allowing the people in my life to operate under their terms. And let me tell you something, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because when you let people walk all over you, you're not just giving them permission to keep doing it. You're teaching them how to treat you. And it's not just other people, it's you. You're telling yourself that this behavior is acceptable, that it's okay to be disrespected. You start to believe that your worth is tied to how much you're willing to tolerate. That's a trap. Now, here's the truth. You can't control how other people act. You can't control what they do, how they think, or the things they say. But you can control how you respond. You can control whether you let it slide or whether you draw that line in the sand and say, "This is where I stand." You are the one who sets the rules. And once you realize that while you decide what's acceptable, while you decide what gets your energy, it's a game changer. Let me tell you, I've had to learn that lesson the hard way. I've been in situations where I let people's bad behavior slide for years because I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to be the bad guy. But here's what I realized. The real bad guy is the one who's taking all the hits without standing up for themselves. The real problem isn't the person doing the disrespecting, it's the person who's willing to tolerate it. It's you. It's easy to look at someone and think they're the problem. It's easy to blame someone else for the way they treat you. But the reality is, the way they treat you is a reflection of the way you've taught them to treat you. The minute you stop accepting disrespect, the minute you stop tolerating bad behavior, things change. And when I say things change, I mean everything shifts. People will notice. They'll start to adjust because the boundaries you set don't just change how they behave, they change how you see yourself. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped rewarding bad behavior? What if every time someone crossed a line, you calmly and confidently said, "No more"? What if you didn't let people waste your time, drain your energy, or make you feel small? Would that change the way people treat you? Would that shift your relationships? I'll tell you this right now, boundaries are not just about protecting yourself from others. They're about protecting your future. They're about deciding that you're worth more than the abuse, the disrespect, the manipulation. And when you start making that decision, when you start honoring yourself like that, everything around you shifts. The people who were never really there for you will fall away. The people who respect you will rise up. But it all starts with you, your willingness to demand more from yourself, your relationships, and the world around you. The key to unlocking this power is simple. Stop giving power to people who use it to hurt you. Stop giving energy to situations that drain you. Start redirecting your time and attention to what truly serves your growth. And when you make that choice, you'll be amazed at how quickly the universe will start to line up with your decisions. And don't think this is a what I'm thing. It's a practice. Every single day, you have to wake up and decide that you're going to value yourself, that you're going to take actions that reflect your worth. It's not always easy. There will be moments of doubt, but when you make a habit of drawing the line and not allowing anyone to cross it, you'll become unstoppable. And that's where the magic happens. Because when you stop rewarding bad behavior, you stop feeding negativity. And once you stop feeding it, it can't survive. When you stop tolerating what doesn't serve you, your life becomes a reflection of what truly aligns with your purpose, your peace, and your potential. Now, let me tell you something, you're not just breaking a bad habit when you stop rewarding bad behavior. you're creating a whole new way of living. You're building new patterns, new habits, and a new reality for yourself. And that's where the power lies. Because the moment you decide to stop tolerating disrespect, you're setting up a new standard, not just for others, but for yourself. You see, personal development is all about growth, right? It's about becoming a better version of yourself every single day. But here's the thing a lot of people miss. They are so busy trying to improve their skills, their knowledge, and their abilities that they forget to improve their relationships with themselves. They forget to build the habit of self-respect. And let me tell you, if you don't have that foundation in place, everything else you try to build will eventually crumble. Why? Because everything in your life reflects what you accept. If you accept bad behavior from others, if you accept the disrespect, if you accept the negativity, that's what will become the foundation of your reality. And I'm not just talking about relationships here. I'm talking about your work life, your health, your dreams, and even your relationship with your own self-worth. If you're constantly letting people walk all over you, it's going to affect how you see yourself. It'll chip away at your confidence, your sense of value, and your belief that you deserve better. But when you start to set boundaries, when you say no to disrespect, when you choose yourself over the comfort of avoiding conflict, something powerful happens. You take your power back. But let me be clear, this isn't a what-I'm thing. This isn't something you do once and then move on. This is a daily practice. Every single day, you're going to face opportunities to either tolerate bad behavior or set a boundary. And I'm not saying you need to be confrontational or aggressive. It's not about fighting fire with fire. It's about standing firm in your truth. It's about saying, this is not okay with me, and then walking away from the situation with your head held high. And here's the thing, when you make that choice, it's not just about the person you're setting the boundary with. It's about you're showing yourself that you're worth more than the abuse, the disrespect, and the manipulation. You're showing yourself that you're worthy of love, peace, and respect, not because you're perfect, but because you demand it. And in doing so, you create a space for others to treat you with that same respect. But it's not just about the people around you. It's about your own personal development. It's about building the strength to say, I will not tolerate what doesn't serve me. And here's where the magic happens. When you stop rewarding bad behavior, you start to see a shift in your own mindset. You start to understand that you're not just fighting for respect from others, you're fighting for it from yourself. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Change never is. But the fact that you're even considering this is the first step, that shows that you're ready. You're ready to stop living in a cycle of accepting less than you deserve. You're ready to start breaking the patterns that have held you back for so long. And it's in those moments of courage when you stand up for yourself that you truly begin to grow. Let me tell you something. The world will treat you exactly how you treat yourself. If you walk around with your head down, accepting whatever comes your way, people will treat you like you're invisible. But when you stand tall, when you show up with confidence, when you say, this is who I am, and this is what I will not tolerate, the world will respect that. People will take note. And those who didn't value you before, they'll either rise to meet you or fall away, and that's okay. This is a journey. There's no destination, no final point where everything magically falls into place. But the more you practice setting boundaries, the more you practice valuing yourself, the stronger you become. And the stronger you become, the more power you have to create the life you want. The people around you will start to reflect that change. The toxic relationships will fall away. The negativity will lose its grip on, and what you'll have left, a life filled with the people, opportunities, and energy that align with your true value. And here's the kicker, This doesn't just affect your relationships, it affects everything in your life. It affects your career, your health, and your dreams. When you set boundaries, you open up space for the right people, the right opportunities, and the right energy to flow into your life. It's like clearing the clutter out of your closet. You make room for the things that truly fit. But before we go any further, let me ask you this. What's the cost of not doing this? What's the cost of continuing to reward bad behavior? What's the price of staying in that toxic cycle? Think about it. Let's talk about something real for a second. What happens when you keep tolerating bad behavior? What happens when you keep accepting disrespect and manipulation just to avoid the uncomfortable feeling of setting boundaries? I'll tell you what happens. It doesn't just hurt them, it hurts you. And more importantly, it hurts your future. I know it sounds heavy, but we've got to get real if we're going to make real change, right? You can't sugarcoat this. If you keep letting people walk all over you, if you keep rewarding their bad behavior with your silence or compliance, you're trading away your peace, your self-worth, and your future. You're teaching the universe that you're okay with being treated like this. And here's the hard truth: the universe will gladly keep handing you more of the same. Let me explain it like this. Every time you tolerate bad behavior, you're essentially creating a pattern. And patterns are powerful. Once something becomes a habit, it becomes your reality. The people around you will begin to expect that they can treat you however they want. They'll know they can push your buttons, disrespect your time, and cross your boundaries without consequence. And the thing is, they don't even have to do it consciously. It becomes a subconscious habit on both sides. You allow it because it's become normal, and they keep doing it because they've learned they can. This isn't just about bad behavior, it's about how that behavior shapes your life. Let me tell you something. I've been in situations where I let people take advantage of my kindness, my patience, my time. I would think, oh, they'll change. They didn't mean it that way. But deep down, I knew they weren't changing. And guess what? I wasn't changing either. I was becoming resentful, bitter, and drained. And when you live like that, your energy gets messed up. You start carrying all that weight, and it starts affecting your health, your mindset, and even your potential. Let's say you're working in an environment where people constantly disrespect your ideas. They disregard your efforts, treat you like you're invisible, or take credit for your hard work. What happens if you keep letting that slide? You start to shrink. Your ideas stop flowing. You stop showing up with your best self because you don't believe it's going to matter. And in doing that, you start to shrink your own potential. That's the most dangerous part. You stop believing in your value. You stop thinking you're worthy of success, respect, or growth. I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be this way. It's time to break the cycle. But first, let's really think about what happens when you let people get away with bad behavior. It becomes a chain reaction. People who are disrespectful or toxic will keep pushing your boundaries as long as you allow them to. And the moment you stop tolerating it, they may push back. They might get upset. They might try to manipulate you into feeling guilty and to letting it go just this once. But here's what you need to understand. That's not a reflection of you. That's a reflection of their own insecurities, their own fears. When you stop tolerating bad behavior, you're not punishing them. You're teaching them that you value yourself, that you're worthy of respect, and that your time and energy are precious. And guess what? They may not like it, but they'll learn. And if they don't, that's on them, not you. And here's the kicker. When you stop rewarding bad behavior, you give yourself permission to stop feeling like you're always the one in the wrong. You stop feeling like you have to apologize for setting boundaries, for demanding respect. You stop feeling guilty for saying, "This is not acceptable to me." You stop feeling like you need to explain yourself, and instead, You start to trust that the people who truly value you will understand and respect those boundaries. But let's talk about something more personal for a second. What happens to you when you keep tolerating bad behavior? What happens to your sense of self-worth, your confidence, and your peace of mind? You start feeling like you're not good enough. You start thinking that this is the best you can get, that this is just how life works. You begin to believe that disrespect is something you deserve and that your voice doesn't matter. But that's a lie. And I'm here to tell you, you deserve better. You deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, and love. You deserve to be heard, to be valued, and to be seen for the incredible person that you are. And the only way to make that happen is to stop rewarding bad behavior. You've got to make the decision right here and right now that you are worthy of better treatment. When you take that first step to break the cycle, when you stop tolerating bad behavior, you're sending a message to yourself and to the world that you know your value. And once you know your value, once you claim it and stand firm in it, nothing can take it away from you. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what do you stand for? What are you willing to tolerate? And what are you no longer willing to accept? And if you haven't already made that decision, it's time to make it today. No more letting people walk over you. No more rewarding bad behavior. It's time to take control and demand respect, starting with yourself. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about something crucial, taking responsibility for your own happiness. Because here's the truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. We can always control how others treat us, but we can control how we respond. And that response, it matters. Your happiness, your peace, your sense of self-worth is yours to protect. No one else can do it for you. A lot of times, we think that in order to be happy, in order to feel respected and valued, it's on someone else to give that to us. We think if only they would treat me better, or if only I had more support, or if only this situation were different. But the reality is this: happiness is an inside job. No one can make you feel worthy unless you feel worthy of yourself first. You've got to take full responsibility for your own mental and emotional well-being. And now, don't get me wrong. It's not about becoming cold or indifferent to other people. It's not about pushing away those you care about or giving up on relationships. But what it is about is making sure that you don't sacrifice your happiness at the altar of other people's bad behavior. What it is about is taking control of how you respond and saying, I won't allow negativity to take up space in my life. And here's the thing, when you stop rewarding bad behavior, when you stop tolerating disrespect, you'll start noticing something amazing. You'll start feeling lighter, freer, and more at peace with yourself. It's like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. The drama, the frustration, the anxiety, it starts to fade away. And why? Because you're no longer feeding into it. You're no longer giving power to the people or situations that make you feel small or insignificant. Let's think about this scenario for a second. Let's say you've got a friend or a colleague who constantly takes advantage of you. They ask for favors, they push your boundaries, and they show up when it's convenient for them. You've allowed this behavior in the past because, honestly, you didn't want to deal with the conflict. You didn't want to rock the boat, so you let it slide. But deep down, you started feeling frustrated. You started feeling like you were being used, and it hurt. Now imagine this. What if you told that person respectfully but firmly, hey, I can't keep doing this for you. It's not working for me anymore. You set a boundary. You respected yourself enough to say, this is not okay with me. At first, they might not understand. They might even get upset. But here's the thing, your responsibility is to yourself first. If that person values you, they will adjust. They will understand that respect is a two-way street. And if they don't, that's when you've got to be willing to let go. I know It's not easy. Trust me, I've been there. It's hard to draw that line, to say no, especially when you care about someone. But the reality is this: if you don't take responsibility for your own happiness, no one else will. No one else is going to step in and create the peace, the boundaries, and the respect you need in your life. That's something you've got to do for yourself. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being self-aware. It's about recognizing that you can't give from an empty cup. You can't keep pouring your energy into people who drain you, people who disrespect your boundaries, people who don't see your worth. And if you're constantly giving without receiving, eventually you'll burn out. You'll feel resentful, tired, and defeated. And that's not the life I want for you, and that's not the life you deserve. When you take responsibility for your happiness, you're saying to the world, I'm in control. I'm the one who decides how I feel, how I'm treated, and how I show up. It's real power. It's the power to make choices that align with your highest good. It's the power to say no when necessary and yeses when it truly serves you. It's the power to walk away from toxic situations and relationships that no longer serve your growth. Now, don't misunderstand me. This isn't a call for isolation or becoming hard and against the world. It's a call for discernment. It's a call for empowerment. It's a call for choosing peace over chaos. And once you start doing this, once you start taking full responsibility for your happiness and your self-worth, you'll notice a shift in your life. You'll attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right energy. Think about it. When you begin to demand respect, when you refuse to tolerate bad behavior, you're not just setting boundaries with others. You're also setting them for yourself. You're creating a new pattern of self-respect, and that's what people will see. That's what will draw the right people to you. You'll find that your relationships become more authentic, your work life becomes more fulfilling, and your peace of mind becomes unshakable. And here's the beauty of it: when you make the decision to take full responsibility for your own happiness, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. You become the architect of your own life. You start making decisions that align with who you really are. And you stop allowing external circumstances and other people's behavior to dictate your emotional state. I want you to think about what that would feel like. What would it feel like to wake up every day knowing that you're in control of your happiness, that no one else can steal your peace, no one else can push you around, and no one else can take you for granted? How would you show up in the world? How would you show up for yourself? Let's get into something powerful for a moment. There's a lot of talk about boundaries and respect, but I want to take it a step further and talk about healing. Because once you start setting those boundaries, once you stop rewarding bad behavior, you might feel a little unsteady at first. You might wonder if you're doing the right. You might feel a little lonely or even guilty, because breaking old habits, especially people-pleasing ones, can feel uncomfortable. But I promise you this: healing is the next step in reclaiming your power. See, breaking free from bad behavior, from toxic relationships, from people who don't value you, is not just about saying no or walking away. It's about healing the parts of you that allow that behavior in the first place. It's about healing the wounds of feeling unworthy or not enough. It's about healing the beliefs you've carried for so long that you have to accept less than you deserve in order to keep the peace, to keep the relationship, to be liked. I get it, this is tough. You might feel like you're letting people down. You might feel like you're being selfish or even harsh. But remember this: self-respect is not selfish. Setting boundaries is not selfish. Taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical health is not selfish. It's a form of self-love. And if you don't love yourself enough to put up those boundaries, who will? Healing doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's a journey. But it starts with the decision to stop rewarding bad behavior, to stop tolerating disrespect. And when you make that decision, you are not only changing your reality in the present, you're breaking free from cycles that have been passed down through generations. It's not just about that one person or situation. It's about healing all the places in your life where you've accepted less than what you deserve. Let me give you a personal example. There was a time in my life when I would constantly give and give, whether it was my time, my energy, or my love, without ever really asking for anything in return. It was like I was afraid to say no, afraid to draw a line. I thought that being the nice guy, the one who always gave, would make me a good person. But what I realized is that I wasn't just giving, I was losing myself. I was losing my peace. And I was rewarding bad behavior by letting others take advantage of my kindness. That's when the shift happened. I started to realize that the only way to protect myself was to create those boundaries, to stop rewarding bad behavior. But in order to do that, I had to go through a healing process. I had to recognize my own worth. I had to heal those places within me that made me feel like I needed to give at the expense of myself. That's the kind of healing I'm talking about. It's not just about saying no to others, it's about saying yeses to yourself. You see, when you stop tolerating bad behavior, when you stop rewarding it with your silence, your compliance, or your endless patience, you're taking back your control. And when you take back your control, you start to heal from the inside out. You start to realize that you are worthy of respect, love, and kindness. You start to feel empowered, not just in your interactions with others, but in your entire life. You'll start to feel lighter, freer, more in alignment with your true self. Now, this isn't to say that it's easy. Healing is messy. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But remember this, healing isn't linear. There will be moments when you second guess yourself. There will be moments when you question whether you're doing the right thing. And that's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward, one small step at a time. As you continue on this journey, you'll find that the toxic relationships that once drained you start to fade away. You'll find that the people who genuinely care for you, who respect you, will step into your life in a way that feels whole, authentic, and real. And the relationships that don't serve you, they'll fall away naturally, without any force. Because, my friend, once you start respecting yourself and setting boundaries, the world will reflect that back to you. But even more than that, you'll feel more connected to yourself than ever before. You'll start making decisions that align with your values, your passions, and your purpose. You'll stop compromising who you are for anyone. And that's where the magic happens. So here's a next step in your journey. Keep healing. Don't rush it. Don't force it. But do the work. Do the inner work of identifying those places where you've let bad behavior slide, where you've let people walk all over you, and where you've rewarded disrespect. Look inside yourself and ask, what part of me believes that I deserve to be treated this way? And as you discover those parts of yourself, take the time to heal them. Take the time to rewrite the narrative of your life, that you no longer tolerate what doesn't serve you. Because the moment you heal, the moment you stop rewarding bad behavior, you open up space for the best version of yourself to emerge. And once that version of you shows up, there's no stopping you. Now that you've started healing, now that you've drawn those lines and started respecting yourself, there's one thing that stands between you and truly transforming your life. And that one thing is consistency. Say boundaries don't work if you don't stick to them. It's one thing to say, I won't tolerate bad behavior anymore, but it's another thing entirely to remain consistent in that decision. If you keep letting people cross those boundaries, if you keep rewarding bad behavior by letting it slide, you're telling yourself and the world that your boundaries don't matter. And nothing will change. But here's the thing, change is not comfortable, and it's not supposed to be. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. If setting boundaries and respecting yourself were simple, we wouldn't have so many people tolerating bad behavior, people walking around feeling disrespected, people stuck in toxic relationships. It takes real strength to stay consistent in honoring your boundaries, especially when it feels like you're the only one doing it. Consistency doesn't mean being rigid or unforgiving. It means staying true to your values, even when it's hard. It means showing up for yourself every single time and refusing to let anyone or anything take your peace. It means having the courage to say, this is who I am, and this is what I deserve. And if you can't respect that, then we don't have a relationship. I want you to think about it this way. Respect is a currency. The more you respect yourself, the more you build a solid foundation of self-worth. But if you don't consistently show that you value yourself, if you let others treat you poorly without holding them accountable, you're basically giving away your respect for free. And when you give away your respect, it becomes harder and harder to get it back. So, how do you stay consistent? First, you've got to keep reminding yourself of why you set those boundaries in the first place. When you feel the pressure to fall back into old patterns, when you feel the temptation to give in, remember, you're doing this for yourself. You're doing this because you deserve better, because you deserve peace, because you deserve respect. And when you keep that at the forefront of your mind, it becomes easier to say no, easier to walk away, and easier to stand your ground. But also be kind to yourself in the process. Understand that being consistent doesn't mean being perfect. There will be moments when you slip. There will be moments when you second guess yourself, when you feel the pull to go back to your old ways. That's okay. What matters is that you get back up and keep going, that you don't let a setback define you, that you keep honoring your boundaries, even when it feels tough. Let me tell you something, I've learned it through experience. People will test you. They'll push your boundaries. They'll see if you're serious. They'll see if you'll fold. But here's the secret. The more consistent you are in your boundaries, the less likely it is that people will continue to push. They'll respect you because they'll see that you respect yourself. And once they see that you're not willing to accept disrespect, they'll either adjust or they'll leave. Either way, it's a win for you. You're creating space for the right people and the right energy to come into your life. And I know this might sound like a lot of work, but trust me, it's worth it. The peace that comes from consistently respecting your own boundaries is priceless. The energy that you save, the emotional toll that you stop paying by letting people take advantage of you, it's life-changing. So, what do you do next? Stay committed. Keep practicing the things that keep you grounded in your self-worth. When you're tempted to let someone slide with bad behavior, ask yourself, is this really worth my peace? Is this behavior aligned with the person I want to be and the life I want to create? And if the answer is no, then stand firm. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. Don't let anyone convince you that you're wrong for prioritizing your own well-being. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. The more you enforce your boundaries, the more people will understand that you mean business. And as a result, you'll attract people who respect you, who support you, and who value your energy. And those are the kinds of people who are worth your time, your attention, and your love. By consistently choosing yourself, consistently choosing respect, you are building a life that aligns with your deepest values. You're creating a reality where you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're making space for relationships that empower you, for opportunities that elevate you, and for experiences that fill you with joy. Now here's where it all comes together. You've done the work, you've learned to stop rewarding bad behavior, and you've healed the parts of you that allowed that behavior in the first place. You've set boundaries, you've stood firm, and you've consistently shown up for yourself. But the truth is, the real reward for all this effort isn't just that people will start respecting you more. is that you will respect yourself more. And that is the greatest transformation of all. Because when you start living in alignment with your boundaries, when you start respecting yourself enough to say no to what doesn't serve you, something incredible happens. You become authentic. You start living your truth unapologetically. You stop worrying about what people think of you or whether you're doing the right thing in the eyes of others. You start focusing on what you think of you. And that's when real freedom shows up. That's when real peace steps into your life. That's when your life starts to unfold in a way that matches your vision, your purpose, your deepest desires. Let me tell you something: you are worthy of the best life has to offer. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of peace. And the moment you start living in alignment with that truth, the world around you starts to reflect it. The relationships you cultivate will be built on mutual respect. The work you do will feel fulfilling. And the people you surround yourself with will be the ones who elevate you. Now, here's the catch. As you go forward in this journey, as you continue to set those boundaries and live your truth, there will be moments of doubt. There will be times when you feel the pull of old patterns, when people try to pull you back into the same toxic cycles you've worked so hard to break free from. But remember, you are in control. You get to decide how you want to show up in this world. You get to decide what you will accept and what you won't. You get to decide the energy you bring into every room. Consistency is key. You will have to keep showing up for yourself. You will have to keep putting yourself first. You will have to keep honoring your worth, no matter what anyone else says or does. And here's the beauty of it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you respect yourself, the more others will respect you. The more you honor your boundaries, the more others will learn to do the same. You'll start to notice the energy shift. You'll begin to attract people who are on the same wavelength, who respect you and your boundaries. You'll find that your relationships become deeper, more meaningful, and more authentic. You'll notice that you're less stressed, less drained, and more empowered to take on the challenges life throws your way. But it doesn't stop there. You're not just creating better relationships with others, you're also creating a better relationship with yourself. And that, my friend, is the most powerful transformation of all. When you respect yourself, when you love yourself, you become a force to be reckoned with. You become unstoppable. And that's exactly what the world needs right now. More people who are unapologetically themselves, who know their worth, and who refuse to settle for anything less than the best. So here's the bottom line. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to create the boundaries, the respect, and the love that you deserve. You have the power to stop rewarding bad behavior and to start living in a way that reflects your truth. This is your life. This is your journey. And I want you to walk it with your head held high, knowing that you are deserving of all the goodness, all the peace, and all the love that's coming your way. As we're up today's journey together, I want to remind you of something important. It all starts with you. The decisions you make, the boundaries you set, the love you give yourself, it all starts with you. So take action today. Respect yourself enough to stop rewarding bad behavior, to stop accepting less than you deserve. The world will follow your lead. If this message resonated with you, I encourage you to subscribe to Wisdom Recorder, your knowledge source, where we share insights that help you grow, evolve, and become the best version of yourself. Like and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. Let's keep growing together. Stay committed to your journey and never stop respecting your worth.